Captain Shawn and myself, we're preparing for the this year's Best Ranger competition. It's held in Fort Benning, Georgia in April. Today we're going to be doing our second mini competition. So it's about an 18-hour event covering approximately 32 miles.
I competed in the 30th annual back in 2013. I represented Fort Drum. I finished 21st place out of 50 teams that started the competition.
I haven't done it last year. I definitely know what we could do better from last year's team. Some things we're working on to improve. More so on myself than my partner. My partner was great last year. Captain Shawn is a really good partner. I think he's equally as strong or as fast than I am. So some of the things we learned, added some endurance, added miles, continue to work on strength. What I think what hurt us last year most was our marksmanship. So we're getting on the range more this year than we did last year. It's
definitely something that you can't jump into. Captain Goldsworth and I started preparing probably about August on our own, and then we came together in mid-September, early October, and we've been doing 2-a-day workout sessions in addition to these ranges and these mini competitions that we've developed. And it's really just a constant preparation. It's really tough to take a day off because as soon as you do, there's 49 other teams, 50 other teams across the country that are preparing just as hard as you, if not harder.
With a lot of events, a lot of endurance events, you take one step at a time, one event at a time. So we did the 12-miler. I wasn't thinking about the next range or whatever's coming later. It really was focused on the next step. And then now we're here, we're going to do a medical lane. Following the medical lane, we'll do the range, but it's what do we have to do at the moment. So staying in the moment, not worrying about too far what's ahead, because I think if you're worried about that, it becomes burdensome and you start forgetting some of the basics of the task you have at hand.
My previous partner, he and I, we matched each other pretty well physically, and it came with a lot of success. We complemented each other's weaknesses, but our strengths were a lot of the same. And it's kind of the same with Captain Goldsworth. He's a little bit stronger than I am. I'm a little bit faster than he is. Ruck marching, we're about the same, and our skills, we've been about the same across the board. So I don't have to rely on him to pick up too much of the slack for me, and he doesn't have to rely on me to pick up too much of the slack for him.
You guys need any more sunscreen or anything?
I might need some sunscreen, brother. Thank you. We've been very fortunate to have a lot of support from GSN units and commanders at all echelons. We're very proud to represent Fort Huachuca, and we want to represent all the good things that the units here do.
Fort Huachuca honored its top performers at the Installation Awards Banquet at the Thunder Mountain Activity Center. Teresa Denton was named the Military Spouse of the Year. Louis Vanderbeek was recognized as the Civilian of the Year. Staff Sergeant Gabriel Cruz is the Marine of the Year. The Sailor of the Year is Information Systems Technician Petty Officer First Class Bradley Rodriguez. The Airman of the Year is Tech Sergeant Michael Castillo. The Army NCO of the Year is Staff Sergeant Joshua DeBee. And Chief Warrant Officer 4 Bryon Morales is the Instructor of the Year.
I'm really grateful to know that my leadership is recognizing me for the hard work that I put in, and I'm really grateful for my chain of command.
I'm just very proud to represent the Warrant Officer cohort and just be able to provide my expertise and knowledge to the students.
I'm very humbled. I feel pretty unworthy because I know there's a tremendous network of spouses here on post that puts all their heart into volunteering. So I feel like the award's not so much about me as the whole network of volunteers that really contributes to the post.
The honorees received a variety of awards, certificates, and gifts from officials and donors both on and off the installation.
Welcome to historic Ground Parade Field for the United States Army Intelligence Center of Excellence and Fort Huachuca Installation Change of Responsibility Ceremony. Today we will say goodbye to Command Sergeant Major Thomas J. Latter and welcome Command Sergeant Major Warren K. Robinson. With the transfer of the non-commissioned officer sword goes the transfer of responsibility for the accomplishments of the unit and the welfare of its soldiers, their families, and the civilian workforce. Command Sergeant Major Latter will now pass the non-commissioned officer sword to Major General Walters, signifying the relinquishment of his duties and gratitude for the opportunity to care for installation and organization. Major General Walters opens the non-commissioned officer sword, signifying the start of the incoming Command Sergeant Major's responsibilities, and passes the sword to Command Sergeant Major Robinson with the following charge. Let it be known from this day forward, I charge you to commit yourself to the provision for sound advice to the commander and the care and compassion for all soldiers, civilians, and their families.
Today we are transitioning the senior non-commissioned officer from the Military Intelligence Corps, and I am very honored to speak about him a little bit here. Command Sergeant Major is the 12th Command Sergeant Major of the Military Intelligence Corps. We stood this corps up in 1987. He has served as a Command Sergeant Major of the U.S. Army Intelligence Center of Excellence and Fort Huachuca for the past 2.5 years. Terry and Sergeant Major Louder, you guys have both been truly a blessing for me and for the soldiers here on Fort Huachuca. When I look at you, Sergeant Major, I think of the Army's values, and the one that comes to mind is selfless service. And you are the epitome of selfless service as a senior non-commissioned officer and my advisors. Thank you so much. Command Sergeant Major Robinson comes to us with a breadth of experience. His diverse assignments span from TRADOC to Special Forces, from Forces Command to the Intelligence and Security Command. The Army always reiterates taking hard jobs, and Sergeant Major Robinson has done just that throughout his career.
I would like to thank the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines on the field. They are representing all of the service members serving on Fort Huachuca with dedicated service. You look great today. You make me proud to hand over to Command Sergeant Major Robinson this team of teams, comprised of professional organizations and stellar service members, always out front.
General Walters, Tamara and I are excited and humbled at the amazing opportunity to work with you and Nancy, serving our soldiers and community over the next 2 years. I'm confident that this will be a great experience.
I've loved it. I have no idea what the future will hold for me immediately, but I know that I do want to be out there helping others and helping our nation.
Tamara and I are absolutely excited at the opportunity to be back here at Sierra Vista and Fort Huachuca, a wonderful family, and look forward to serving all the soldiers, the civilians, and the families here in the area.
Marine Aviation Training Support Group 22 is from Corpus Christi, Texas. We have 7 geographic locations across the group, and we are out here. This is our annual field exercise. So MATSG 22 is part of Training Command for the Marine Corps.
There you go, sir! Get him, sir! Get him, sir! Yo, get outside the rope, yeah. Over top. Okay! There you go!
The vast majority of the Marines right now are in primary MOS training or entry-level training. So the Marines that we brought out here are awaiting to start their schools. So they had time in their schedule, and we've come out here and we're doing basic skills training that are encompass land navigation, squad, fire team tactics, platoon tactics, casualty assessment, those types of things that are brought back into the Marine Corps curriculum that a Marine has to accomplish every year.
It is absolutely really good for the Marines or for any military personnel really to go through these types of things. It helps them learn how to adapt to different scenarios, their fears, making decisions at the smallest level possible.
It was in the fall of 2016 when I came out here for a site survey, and we were driving just down the road behind me here. My Sergeant Major and I, as one of our first visits to the detachment after I took over as CO. And when I drove by this, I looked at my Sergeant Major and I said, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" And he kind of gave me a quizzical look. And I realized that Fort Huachuca had all of the training resources that we would need to conduct this type of training. The first couple days are team building. This is our first team building event at the Obstacle and Confidence course. We're going to have land navigation day and night. We're going to put the Marines through the leadership reaction course.
What do you think you guys did well?
I think just teamwork, getting it over, and all of us over in the first place with the ammo cans. I mean, we were communicating.
Pretty unanimous decision just to restart earlier.
So at least we agreed on that.
When all the team building is done, then we're going to have 3 days of force-on-force exercises.
So today we're going to go through our land navigation course as well as our leadership reaction course. The land navigation is great because it gives the Marines the chance to utilize some of their perishable skills. If you don't get out there and do land navigation very often, you start to forget certain things that can be very important when you do need them.
I just want to say thank you to the staff and commands at Fort Huachuca for helping making this happen. This is great. We are putting our Marines, sailors, and even airmen together out here for training that we wouldn't have had the opportunity to do anywhere else. So the support that the soldiers and civilians on Fort Huachuca have given us thus far is outstanding.
So this is a USACO Best Warrior competition. So far we've done a PT test, obstacle course. We took a written test, just based Army knowledge, and we got land nav coming up, and some warrior tasks and battle drills.
In my understanding, it emulates the Soldier of the Year competition, and as far as this event generally, with some differences, of course. The idea of the competition is to, well, find who the best warrior is in a certain unit.
Me and the fellow competitors have been identified as the best competition to send forth to the Fort Huachuca Best Warrior competition. We're competing against each other to be named NCO of the Year for Fort Huachuca and follow up with the TREDI competition. So we started off with a whole lot of movement yesterday. We had range call, we had combatives this morning, we had a couple of different things going on. Today we're doing the board, and then later today we're going to be doing land navigation at night, and we're going to be hanging out at the range overnight.
So my battalion was in their competition. They're doing the upper body round robin. I just wanted to see how good I was going to do. I've already had previous board experiences. I've gone to a USARPAC Best Warrior as a specialist. I've been competing kind of a lot, and just kind of wanted to see how I was going to do.
I went in with the idea, as I've heard before, that, you know, somebody like a sergeant major or even a general is just really someone who joined the Army before you. It's just a man. But the more I answered questions and the more I realized I didn't know, inevitably the more nervous I got. And the more nervous I got, of course, they're sergeant majors, they can read that, so then it just kind of spiraled out of control. I've enjoyed myself so far. The board was pretty nerve-wracking. Other than that, I look forward to not doing the board and doing the rest of the events and excelling.
I'm pretty strong physically, coming from a wrestling background, pretty well-rounded. I'm running a lot, doing a lot of weight training, just reading up online how to be physically better. One day I may deploy. I just want to be as ready as I can be, so I can save, not only my own life, but my brothers and sisters in arms as well.
The hardest part was fighting Sergeant Smythe this morning. He's a 3-time state champion winner for wrestling, and I think he had me pinned in less than a minute and a half. So that was the hardest part, and then the most stressful part is probably about to happen in the next 10 minutes when I go to the board.
Definitely fair. Definitely grueling. I can't wait to finish up and see who's the winner.
We just stepped off at 3 a.m. I did a 12-mile ruck. Me and Staff Sergeant Smythe. We just trucked right next to each other. We did our best to stay with each other and just keep each other motivated and determined to get through it. We came down here. We did a couple different weapons checks. We did assembly functions checks.
And then after that, we did stress shoot, where pretty much just running through, doing calisthenics, and trying to up our heart rate, and we fired.
Push yourself! Prove yourself wrong! Let's go! Let's go! You can do this! Let's go! Let's go! All the way! Let's go! Legs. Let's go! You got this! You got this! Let's go!
I was surprised all the push-ups and crunches and Y squats. First I thought, oh, just ruck, then we'd shoot, and it's too easy, but get over here, it's like, no. Do the exercises, low crawl, which is one of the hardest things in my experience to do in the Army so far.
It's definitely high op tempo, and then trying to fire when your heart rate's going, your eye pro is fogging. You kind of just gotta deal with the suck and get through it as best you can.
Stress shoot is designed to bring your heart rate up above 170 degrees, take you to the black zone. The black zone is like a heart rate above 170, where your heart's pumping as fast as and you're depleting oxygen the most. And then have you aim and put rounds on target, because generally about 90% of your shots will be a miss because your heart's still pumping so fast, you're breathing so hard, the weapon is just all over the place. So when you get up there, you really just gotta calm down and sit down and relax. Bring your heart rate back down and control your shot groups.
Ceasefire, ceasefire.
That was some hard work here that he was going through this morning with a 12-mile ruck, and then coming out here with the ESB, because you guys absolutely finished him off, I think, for the rest of the day. There were 16 points that separated these two. Unbelievably close between the two of them. For this 1 week, the one that eked out in front of the other one was Staff Sergeant Fekete.
Yes!
So, congratulate you. Thank you.
A lot to learn too. I got to study my basic skills, do some rucks, do some nighttime land nav, you know, all that sort of. Everything I did here, I'm going to try to work towards perfecting those skills.
It was good. A lot of different events, a lot of different things I've never seen. Good training overall. Definitely a good group of soldiers competing with.
Say thank you, a special thank you to Sergeant First Class Moore, my sponsor, and the NCO who helped develop me and push me through all the events here. And he was with me every day. Every time I was slipping, every time I felt like I was at my point, he's like, hey, put the good stuff, drive on.
Good evening and welcome to the United States Army Military Intelligence Corps Band Inactivation Ceremony and Alumni Concert. Tonight, this esteemed Army Band will perform its final mission after 141 years of musical service to the Army, the soldiers and families of multiple Army stations, including Fort Huachuca and the Sierra Vista community. And one particular favorite among the cavalry soldiers is our next tune, Black Horse Troop.
It's definitely a bittersweet moment. This band has got a really special place in our family and in our lives, and it's definitely going to be hard to see it just not be a part of this community anymore.
A couple of my favorite memories. First of all, we're playing on Brown Parade Field. I enjoyed going up there and playing and doing the ceremonies and everything we did up there. And lots of times also when we did a lot of traveling out into the community and the surrounding areas, especially helping to do a lot of the recruiting that we did. I really enjoyed that.
If there had been a Billboard Top 100 back in the 1900s, Alex Lithgow would have made the top of the list, along with John Philip Sousa, for Lithgow's In for Cargo. And here we go.
Here in November 1991, and on the 4th of December 1991 we did a concert down Fry Boulevard in short sleeve shirts and slacks, and that's when I said I'm never leaving.
Chief Warrant Officer 3 Moore and First Sergeant De La Rosa, the command team of the U.S. Army Military Intelligence Corps Band, will case the unit's guidon, symbolizing its consignment to history. It will then be retired to the Center of Military History in Washington, D.C. In accordance with Permanent Orders 100-2, dated 10 April 2017, the 62nd Army Band, assigned to the Military Intelligence Center of Excellence and Fort Huachuca, is hereby inactivated with an effective date no later than 15 October 2018.
You know, when the order came down to inactivate the band a couple of years ago, none of us were happy about it. In fact, we were extremely sad about it. And my predecessor, Lieutenant General Barrier, did everything he could to fight it. And when he and I swapped out a year ago, he said, "Bob, I got some bad news for you." And I said, "What's that?" He said, "We're losing the band." I'm like, "You're kidding, Scotty." He goes, "No." He said, "We fought the good fight, we lost." And I said, "I'm going to try to fight it." He said, "Go for it." And we did. And we didn't win. And so that's why we're here tonight. So on behalf of Command Sergeant Major Robinson and myself, thank you all for coming to witness this historic occasion.
Tonight, to honor that symbolic bond of shared responsibility, we have invited commanders of the Fort Huachuca Chain of Command to help us accomplish this final mission. Ladies and gentlemen, conducting us in Stars and Stripes Forever, Major General Robert E. Walters, Jr.
That I got to play with, as well as our mission playing for the troops. When I was deployed, it was really a good thing to give the troops a break and a piece of home.
Train you how to be a military band member. But if you were a musician, that was easy. But the most exciting thing about being in the 36th Army Band was I was in the Army Band with some people who became stellar jazz stars. Cannonball Adderley, Nat Adderley, Junior Mance. Those were people that made top hits in the jazz world. And they named one of the bands here after Cannonball Adderley.
Was Fort Huachuca, and now I'm ending my career here at Fort Huachuca. So it is bittersweet. I met my husband here. You know, life changes in the course of a 20-year career, but it's amazing that for 141 years there has been Army music on Fort Huachuca, and that comes to an end tonight. It's bittersweet.
strike 8 bells. Director, Defense Information Systems Agency and Commander, Joint Force Headquarters, Department of Defense Information Network, arriving. Welcome to the Joint Interoperability Test Command, change of command.
So changes of command are always bittersweet. Captain Johnson has come to the end of his journey, and he's filled with pride in JITC and all that you have accomplished during his time at the helm. With the passing of the colors, we will recognize his hard work and dedication in where he has taken this command. At the same time, Captain Roberts takes command, filled with anticipation and excitement for this new adventure and all that is ahead over the horizon. The JITC team should be incredibly proud of how you have executed your important mission.
I want to start out by thanking God, my family, and the great team of professionals here at JITC for making the last 3 years of command a success. I was humbled 3 years ago to take command, and I'm extremely grateful to have been given the opportunity to lead such a wonderful group of Americans. Bupers Order 0088, when directed by Reporting Senior, detach from the Joint Interoperability Test Command and report no later than July 2018 to Commander, Naval Information Forces, Suffolk, Virginia.
Captain Roberts will now read his orders.
Order number 1158, when directed by Reporting Senior, detach from Commander, U.S. Fleet Forces Command, and report not later than July 2018 to the Joint Interoperability Test Command, Fort Huachuca, Arizona, as the commander.
But Eric, well, all joking aside, thank you so much for all the hard work you've done. You've really set the bar high for myself and all following commanders. I really appreciate it, and like I said, I am really impressed with the work that you've done here with your team. It is an outstanding command, and I am looking forward to the next 3 years here as the commanding officer and being part of that future, because I really think that the better days of JITC are still ahead. I mean, it's been great days so far, but I'm sure that the future is even greater. Other than that, I'll be brief and just tell everybody thank you so much. It's truly an honor and humbling experience to be standing here today, and let's get to work.
So today is the first day of school. We are all extremely excited to have our kiddos come in, and they're going to be in their classrooms ready to learn, and we are hitting the ground running.
I think the teachers lived here for the past week because they've just done a wonderful job setting up their classrooms in anticipation of all the arrival of the kids. So excitement everywhere.
I would say to the parents, and especially the 6th grade parents, don't worry, we're going to take very good care of your 6th graders. They're going to love it when they get here. And for the other students, just to work hard and try different things. If you have an elective and you don't think you like it, try it. You may find out you do like it, and it will open up a whole new avenue of things for you to do.
For the kiddos, it's have fun, listen to your teachers, listen to all the staff members here, and for the parents, it's really become a part of the school. Come in to see us, volunteer in your child's classroom, be involved with homework, and really make sure that you're in the know on what your kiddo is expected to do and how you can help out.
Students, eat breakfast. I know you're excited for school, but stop, take a minute, eat breakfast, and go to sleep at night. Get your rest, come to school well rested so that your brain is ready.
When I walked in the first day, I was like amazed. I cannot believe the technology that's here, and that's why I say to the students, take advantage of everything that we have here. We can reach out across the world.
I'm nervous. There's so many kids and so many questions, and I hope I have all the answers, and I just want everybody to have a great time. So kindergartners, I know this is a time where you're a little nervous and a little scared to leave home, but so are we, because we want to do the best for you and make sure that everybody from kinder to 2nd grade, even all the way through the 8th grade, has a great year.
I always get excited about the start of the school year. Believe it or not, principals are here all summer, and the building is very lonely without our kiddos. So very excited to start the school year and just ready to have a really great year.
It's rewarding and it's fun just to see everybody to come back and see everybody excited to be here. And I'm excited for the new year. It's a chance to start all over again and bring something new in.
Everyone, have a wonderful year. Parents, thank you for keeping the kids active during the summer, and we look forward to working with you as a community.
2018 All-Army Boxing Championship Finals at Barnes Fieldhouse on Fort Huachuca, Arizona. At 123 pounds, Patrick Willingham, fighting out of the red corner, representing Camp Casey, Korea, took on Francisco Cancino from Fort Sam Houston, Texas. This bout amped up here in the third round. And the fight went the distance as Willingham gets the decision over Cancino. At 132 pounds, Marcellus Mathis from Fort Bragg, North Carolina in red went up against Shawn Adams out of Fort Hood, Texas in blue. Here in the third round, the action got lively. And the judges again made this call as Mathis earns a spot on the All-Army boxing team. On to 141 pounds, where Stephen Cosme from Fort Stewart, Georgia, fighting out of the red corner, took on Brandon Etheridge in blue from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. The fighters went toe-to-toe here. And the bout went the distance as the judges gave the nod to Cosme. On to the 152-pound weight class, where Montrell Hunter in red, fighting for Joint Base Lewis McChord, Washington, faced Ronaldo Torres in blue, representing Grafenwehr, Germany. The boxers brawled right here. And the judges awarded the win to Torres, who earns a berth on the All-Army team. At 165 pounds, Timothy McCoy, fighting out of Fort Bragg in red, went up against Noah Butkovich from Naval Station Key West, Florida. Here in the first round, the boxers got into this exchange. The fight went the distance, and McCoy earns the berth on the All-Army team with his effort against Butkovich. At 178 pounds, Ramy Hassan in red from Joint Base Lewis McChord went up against Dermot Blake from Fort Carson, Colorado in blue. In the first round, Blake took charge of this contest and landed this shot. And Hassan came right back, causing the ref to issue a standing 8 count. And Hassan gets a berth on the All-Army team with his victory over Blake. And at 201 pounds plus, Jesse Cervantes from Fort Carson, fighting out of the red corner, took on Jacob Conley in blue from Camp Humphreys, Korea. The big fellas slugged it out here. The fight went the distance, and Conley took the contest, earning a berth on the All-Army team. The boxers will continue to train at Fort Huachuca, then compete in the Eastern Elite qualifiers scheduled for the middle of October in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
I think they performed very well, listened to the coaches, and I thought it was a great show for All-Army this year.
We just did the high dive in uniform to prepare to have a proper response, just in case of a helicopter crashing into the water or maybe a truck flipping over into the water.
So this morning we went through PCCs, PCIs of the equipment, and then weapons draw. From there we moved over to the pool where we conducted a modified combat water survival test. We're doing the Mungadai, and the Mungadai comes from the Mongol word of Munghut, and that was Genghis Khan's legendary cavalry. And in order for you to be a part of his warrior troop, you had to go through a series of tests to make sure that you had the intestinal fortitude and the capability of being part of that Munghut. So the Army's adopted that word, and now it's used for different challenges that you might go through.
We did our flicks, we had our gear on, and we jumped in, came up, and then took it off while trying the water. It's drown proofing, so like when you're in the deployment area or when it's the real life thing, you'll be natural. It'll be natural to you, so you won't panic or you won't surround. You just naturally go and know where to go.
Actually, the goal is just to get off the high board, so that's one of the big issues with familiarization, because there's a lot of issues with heights. I know I have an issue with heights, but I've actually done this drill before from 25 feet instead of just from 20. So it's not a significant difference, but it actually makes a difference to me when I'm up there.
The training was very effective. It was well thought out by our leadership. The soldiers go ahead. They feel confident. We have people standing by in case something happens. They go ahead, make it happen, and now they trust themselves in case something happens.
And right now what we're going through is the lanes. So we have various lanes that we're doing. We have an equipment exercise where we're going through and we're putting together an M4, an M249, and an M2. Then once they put that together, then they're doing the functions check.
They have to get each piece that's assembled into a set box, assemble all 3 weapon systems, and do a function check within 10 minutes. So it's pretty tough. It's a lot of critical thinking, a lot of teamwork too, because it's a relay. Only one soldier can go out at a time, and they can assemble it on their own and do a function check on their own. So it's a lot of strategizing and teamwork involved as well.
The station that I'm running is PMCS, Preventative Maintenance Checks and Services. PMCS is to identify small faults before they become big faults, i.e. maybe we have a hub leak, we have a transmission pan leak, oil pan leak. We catch it at a class 1 and we're able to monitor it or repair it before it becomes a class 3 and leaks the fluid out, and we blow an engine, ruin a transmission, or get into an accident because the hub locks up. I have created 5 different faults on this vehicle. They are finding faults. 3 faults at a minimum would be a go at this station. 5 faults altogether that they find would be a bonus point. And then any fault that I did not annotate, for instance, the last team found a CV axle boot torn, is a bonus point for a total of 5 maximum points for this station as a go. When you're in the fight, you do not want this to break down. When you're going from point A to point B especially, if your mission is not to go from here to there, get out and dismount, it's to go maybe from fob to fob logistically, you definitely don't want to have this vehicle break down in the middle of nowhere and have somebody else come out and get you, or make the team that you are with sitting ducks.
We're also going through the history of the Signal Corps. We're going map testing. We're doing a challenge where we're putting together puzzles wearing MOP gear, just to show the soldiers how when you're wearing your full JS-less suits, doing the menial tasks are going to be kind of difficult. So they understand if I have to fill a radio, this is going to be how it is, as well as just rehearsing putting on the mask within the allotted time of 9 seconds.
We have our Operation Pegasus Rising, so we are doing a team building, esprit de corps event. We're challenging our soldiers both mentally and physically, and we're trying to build some confidence not only in their teamwork but also in themselves by going back to the foundations, the level 1 warrior skills. So we're talking doing sea burn, we're putting on our MOP gear, we're doing land navigation, we're doing the obstacle course, we're doing the confidence course. And all of these soldiers are coming together with their team members to try and accomplish that mission throughout the week.
We're here doing like a Spartan race for the company, trying to see who's the Iron team, Iron platoon. So far, my team's first. Phoenix team.
Drop everything. All right, Winnie, roll up, roll up.
Just a lot of heart, a lot of mental toughness. I mean, the physical part we can all do, but it's all about trying to stay in the game to try and complete the task.
It's tough, but the PC that we do for my second sergeant, it kind of teaches us, push ourselves, go further than what we're used to. So, we're progressing every day.
100 meters to go. Let's go, guys. You got this.
Good amount of smack talking going between them because everyone wants to come out on top. And I think that the soldiers out here are really giving it their all. They're laying it out here all on the field and trying their best to be successful in the challenges that we present to them today.
Our students have been working really hard for the past month on putting together a Veterans Day appreciation program for their families. They've learned about the importance of Veterans Day and why we celebrate it. We work together collaboratively as a second grade team and with our music teacher to rehearse special songs and poems. They're learning about why we honor our veterans. We've incorporated writing with this as well, so they've written a thank you letter to someone in their family who is either serving currently or has served. So we also have had wonderful support from our families. We created a wall of honor to honor all those family members who have served. We also have one for our staff members as well. So we're hoping all families will be able to look at that tonight as they enter the cafeteria to see the performance.
It's an opportunity for the kids to show their parents that they do understand their sacrifices and they're thankful for all that their parents do for them.
both home and abroad, and also an opportunity for all the other younger grades to realize why we have this weekend, why we have this day, why we celebrate our veterans that sacrifice so much.
100 years ago, the guy that was living in the house that Nancy and I live right now was the guy named Colonel Cornelius Smith. And Cornelius Smith did the exact same thing that I'm doing tonight. He came out, lit a tree, and then all the officers that lived on Officer Row walked over and they had dinner with the troops that lived in those barracks right there. So what we're doing today is actually historical.